I do have a couple slides here that we've helped put together, and so we might jump back and forth between some of these slides.
Okay.
Maybe I want to start with maybe if it's okay uh, the commercial part of this, just to talk a little bit about the collaboration that you have with DNA Nexus before we talk a little bit about your goals for your precision oncology, precision health platform.
Right, I'm happy to talk about this. So I throughout the event, I won't to read off these slides. They're all in front of you. I'm sure they'll be made available to you. I'll point to them. As I mentioned, once we realize the potential at the City of Hope, and of course, we're not the only ones that are focusing on precision medicine across at least the advanced comprehensive cancer centers, the matrix institutions, which have bench to bedside activity. Precision medicine has taken on a new life. It's almost a requirement for us to not only manage our patients that are expecting this. It is if we don't have it in place, then we're going to be falling behind. So we've spent quite a number of months strategizing specifically on what should the precision medicine environment look like. And to do so, we realized that we couldn't do it alone. It's, having my experience from Vanderbilt to UCSF and now to City of Hope, I advised about a dozen cancer centers, formally through external advisory boards. Everyone has their own flavor, but regardless, the one unique aspect of delivering a precision medicine environment is you can't do it by yourself. You can't build it yourself anymore. Even those days when I was at Vanderbilt, when we built our own medical record, those days have come and gone. So a partnership was necessary, and we had a very good collaboration with DNA Nexus early on, specific to one of our precision medicine networks that we were participating in at the time. And we were able to move forward with some of our strategies revolving around precision medicine. And through a number of strategic interviews and highlighted endpoints, we were able to create a really intricate relationship with DNA Nexus to help us build the footprint of a precision oncology environment. And this strategic partnership was, it took a couple of years to pull together, but we invested heavily in this. We tested the waters for at least a couple of years with the existing infrastructure, and we came together with a plan, one that was scalable. It needed to scale because we were busting out the seams across our own internal network. We needed the right experts to help us strategize once we ingest all this data. How do we provide this not only as a solution primarily for the City of Hope, but how can this impact our growing network that we're having across the landscape of precision medicine institutions? So this partnership was born, and DNA Nexus has really done a lot of the heavy lifting for this, and it's been a really good symbiotic relationship for us. I think it's helped us really catapult our initiative a few years, to say the least. It saved us time, and it saved us a lot of energy, and I'm trying to build something and sustain it.
Excellent. And I've got some slides that were talking about your kind of core goals for this project. But tell me, before we get to that, why was it important to select an informatics platform early in the process of implementing this initiative?
Well, as an informatician, and many of you I recognize are from the informatics space or are dealing with data, the time has come and gone where you can throw everything into an Excel spreadsheet or a REDCap database, or buy an infrastructure that's already built and try to squeeze everything into it. We really needed an environment that was fine-tuned and revolving around our workflow. It's very challenging to take any black box and make it fit every process that an institution has. Every one of us have a different way of managing our data. It's cloud services can go only so far. When it comes to really dealing with patient data and the multi-layers of data associated with a single patient, the life in a day of a patient tumor sample, and the amount of data associated with it, it amplifies at a log scale every day. To support that, it really requires a professional outfit. If it's for research alone, even these days, we no longer have a separation between research and clinical care, especially at a place like City of Hope. These two worlds are very, very closely aligned, especially in the world of genomics and multi-omics. They have to be aligned. Otherwise, you're just wasting time. And so that's one of the reasons why we really needed to have this type of infrastructure that was supportive of our long-term and short-term vision for what precision medicine is supposed to be like.
I'm sure everyone wants to understand what you've built as part of that vision, but maybe it's instructive to think to talk first about kind of what your original goals were as you went into this project.
You know, one of our original goals was we do see precision medicine as a feedback loop system. You know, the data that's being collected across research and clinical care, the collection and understanding of real world data to real world evidence to real world action, this ecosystem is always evolving. The goals we had early on was to really build a foundation, an underlying infrastructure that we can use as a precision oncology platform. Any data set that's affiliated with the journey that we identified as precision medicine across any disease group, from disease registries to pathologies, syntactic information that we're collecting, medical record data, clinical trials information, genomic data, all these variables that come into play that help define the precision medicine or precision oncology ecosystem. These are critical, not only for research, but for decision support. We needed a way to really be in control of this, really from the very get-go. And to do that, we really thought about what is the best way to build this infrastructure up. That really started the discussion about building this foundation, not only to empower all of our researchers and our bioinformaticians and clinicians and translational scientists, but it needed to also support some of the most cutting edge research that's happening at places like the City of Hope or any of your institutions, for any of you who are on the phone, on the Zoom call. We needed a way to support that. Building a network was also critical for us. We needed a way to not stay siloed in our ideas, especially from those of you who are from these academic matrix institutions. We all collaborate, and especially across disease programs, we collaborate deeply. And data is data, and building a oncology network to support these ideas, to make sure they are realistic and they are sustainable. So we partnered up with a society that is near and dear to my heart, and many of you know about the Cancer Informatics Society, which is a informatics and data-driven educational society. Partnering up with them, DNA Nexus was part of this society from, gosh, I would say at least halfway through the society, DNA Nexus joined us. And we learned together, and we understood what it really takes to build a program and a network to support our ideas. So partnership with CI4CC was a great one. It helped us move along and helped me understand the ideas that we needed to pull together. Um, Growing this network and growing this platform and leveraging all the work that went into it really is a team effort. It's impossible for anyone to do about themselves. Both large and small companies struggle with this. I think this partnership that we have is extremely unique. And I really do believe that we are onto something very, very special.
I agree.
Impacted the City of Hope tremendously already. I can only talk to some of the examples, but it's changed the expectation. It's no longer a question. Well, can we do this? It's no longer a question. It's a matter of this is exactly what we need. Let's find how to expand our current platform to now support, let's say, a new novel idea across radiology or radiogenomics, radiation oncology. It's no longer, well, how do we do this? It's a matter of, okay, now let's create a swimming lane, and now let's bring that infrastructure and the required data elements into this new platform that we have built.
Can we maybe take a pivot and actually talk more specifically about what it is exactly that you built and how it's constructed?
Sure. Yeah. I'm happy to talk about this platform that we have brought together. So this, I use the word data lake. I know people have different definitions of data lake versus data warehouse, but I'll refer to this as our precision oncology data lake. We've given it a unique name within the City of Hope. We call it Poseidon, the king of oceans. I think that's what it is. So this data lake really required some thoughtful planning early on. We knew what we needed to bring to the table to make this idea a reality. Besides all the clinical information and all the genomic data, proteomic data, metabolomic, multi-omic infrastructure that we needed a way to structure this data properly in buckets. But this data needed to answer questions that cut across each data group. And that data foundation became the early infrastructure. And over here on this image, you see our medical record. We happen to be on Epic at the City of Hope. We have our tumor registry, which is everyone has a tumor registrar. We have one. We have a clinical trials management system, and dozens of other large and small platforms are collecting information or data, raw data for some ways. And we need to bring this into this ecosystem so we can understand how these data are formatted, the standards tied to all these data elements need to really follow a standard that is recognizable by the community. We didn't want to build our own standards. We were very sensitive to that, and we're still evolving our precision oncology data standard across all of this. And we needed to make it easy for bioinformaticians who are very technical, like the Jupyter Lab notebooks. But we needed it easy for oncologists who just wanted a dashboard to look at analytics really quickly, or just be able to browse across various data sets that are specific to their disease. Data governance and security is a big part of this. It needs to be well managed across the matrix organization. So this whole platform touches all of this, and we're growing this, and it's an always growing environment. It's not sitting still by any means. There's changes and updates to it as all of us expect every day. We have a new investigator that may show up and be very interested in just CAR T cells, for example. And this immunotherapy environment will be very critical to his or her precision medicine roadmap. So how do we ingest immunotherapy type data from our CAR T cell clinical trials into this infrastructure? So what you see in front of you is an early footprint architecture or topology of our system that is been designed in partnership with DNA Nexus, and we have strong architects and leaders at the City of Hope that are managing this along with DNA Nexus, and has come along, I would say, in a rapid turnaround. I had to take a leave of absence for a short period of time last year, and when I came back from my leave of absence, um, I was just delightful to see the amount of progress that was made. Where today, our platform, our precision oncology data lake, is live, and it's impacting decision support for our precision medicine focused patients at the City of Hope today. Um, and so it's come a long way in a short period of time, but there's a lot more work to do. Tremendous amount of work left to do on this in order to make this really what it needs to be.
That's impressive. And I know that there are a lot of organizations out there that have roadmaps, but this isn't pie in the sky visionary work. This is real world data that you're working with today. Tell us a little bit about the impact of what you're seeing or how this is impacting your organization.
Um, this has been the footprint of the Center for Precision Medicine. So we recruited a national leader in precision medicine recently. He's leading this program with a number of other oncologists and leaders across the institution. Without this, there would be no precision medicine Center for Precision Medicine. It would be going back to how we used to do things, one patient at a time. Very difficult to cut across all the various complex data sets. This is definitely the enabler. I would say if there are 3 legs to a precision medicine center, this is 2 of the 3 legs, without a question in my mind. It is definitely an enabler. We have many of our faculty have been trained, and a lot of our bioinformaticians and technical folks are super users. We're at the point where we are now expanding to look for partners to help grow this infrastructure. We have strengths at City of Hope, but we're not the only ones that have strengths in oncology. Any of the NCI cancer centers, they have their own strengths across their own disease areas. We want to learn from them. This is perfect for the City of Hope, and it's still growing, but it may not be perfect for another institution that we want to partner with them. We want to learn and really make this a world-class infrastructure for precision medicine. Yeah.
Can you give the team on this call, on this video, some scope of the size of this implementation, the size of the data, et cetera?
Well, no, we, as many of you, we see tens of thousands of patients a year. Every patient that comes into the City of Hope, we are sequencing. We have our own next-gen sequencing CLIA facility that every patient that walks through the City of Hope is a patient that the data is being collected, both clinical and genomic data and germline data is being collected, and it's now being integrated into this platform. Besides imaging data, clinical trials information, even targeting new drugs, we have our own GMP facility where we manufacture drugs. This is helping us with our drug development life cycle within the City of Hope. We are putting and targeting patients to clinical trials based on information coming from this. And of course, at the end of the day, all of this data is helping create new research ideas, new methods, new translational projects within our wet bench area. So this is a definite ecosystem. So it supports real world data collection, but also is impacting some of the most basic research environments that all of you are very familiar with at your own institutions.
Tell us how you think advanced analytics such as AI and ML contribute to realizing new clinical pathways and treatment options for oncology patients.
Well, it first starts with data. I think if we don't have the data really well structured, well annotated, following a proper knowledge base, ontology knowledge base, you can apply AI to bad data and then you have bad AI. I think the underlying infrastructure here is critical. I think artificial intelligence and natural language, all these other analytic utilities that are out there can downstream from this infrastructure be applied. And so part of this infrastructure is at your fingertips, decision support and through the Jupyter Notebook and computation, your own machine learning environments, which will get you to potentially where you want to go, but it allows you to have raw data sets available for even deeper learning as necessary. So this is all part of this ecosystem. I mean, if you don't have an integrated platform, well, you can align it with this. If it's not built into it, ours is integrated, at least for the use of our clinicians and scientists. But for the heavy-duty super users who really need some really deep analytical tools, this definitely supports that for the hardcore curator, bioinformatician, or biostatistician.
Yeah, I do want to touch on that point in a second, but also I want to remind the audience that you're welcome to add a chat question if you have a specific question for Sorena. We'll be running through this part of our presentation for the next 6 or so minutes. Sorena, you just talked about kind of some of the different personas that end up touching this, and I see on this on the slide here that you've got a COH user and you have a COH tech user, and they seem to be this is a leading question. Objection, Your Honor. But they seem to be touching different parts and having different kind of skill sets as they interface with this flow. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so all of us have across our organizations have clinician scientists, pure basic researchers, technical individuals who are bioinformaticians or biostatisticians, both advanced PhD level, master's level. And so in order for this ecosystem to serve everyone, you would expect that our clinical folks who need this for decision support, who may not necessarily understand how to use a Jupyter Notebook or need to run a computational algorithm to look for some very unique data sets and outcome. They just want a cohort browser in order to search across information that we make readily and easily understandable by some of the not so technical folks. But on the other hand, we have very technical users who are getting into the depths of this raw data sets that we're collecting to support either the clinician or the basic scientist. And so this serves both groups. You need that one way or another. It can't, someone has to be able to have this handshake well orchestrated. So this picture gives you a good idea of how the tech user uses the platform and how the basic scientist or clinician can use the cohort browser to look across his or her patient population and make decisions on patients at point of care. That part is critical for the left side of the equation. And the technical users support this information. There's always a back and forth. Let's double check this. Let's triple check this. Let's look at this data set. Let's look at this outcome and circle back to see if we're making the right decision. For tumor boards across the institution where you have both clinicians, researchers, and the technical curators, this becomes their playground to make decisions on patients and also downstream research.
We do have a couple questions that have come into me or into the everyone category here, Sorena. Maybe one, could you discuss the long-term goals of City of Hope PM initiative and how data will be democratized and leveraged across City of Hope and its strategic partners?
Right. So our Center for Precision Medicine is really one of our strategic priorities across the institution. And we've invested tremendously in building the infrastructure and the support teams around this. We as an informatics, as a Center for Informatics, are a part of this. We're one of the enablers to help support the larger precision medicine efforts. City of Hope is a very fast-growing institution since I've been here. I've been here for 5 years almost, and we have doubled in size since I've been here. We went from 1 community site to 30 community sites. We have a main hospital that is growing in footprint by 300%. It's true. We have more buildings and hospitals going up on the main campus, but we're also expanding to other parts of Southern California, like Orange County, and new hospitals going up there, and main hospitals going up. Our growth around our institution, in large part, is focused on precision medicine. We acquired in Phoenix, Arizona, TGen, a translational genomics outfit, to be our genomics experts. And all the CLIA-based sequencing that is happening is being dumped into Poseidon, our precision oncology platform and data lake. We see, like many of you across the cancer centers, our precision medicine effort is well integrated into our research portfolio. And some of our large translational grants are tied to precision medicine, like our spores. Those of you know what spores are. We have a funded spore, a soon-to-be funded second spore, and we're growing our translational research projects pretty quickly. As a comprehensive cancer center, it's required that we do this. And our clinical trials portfolio is really a good mirror of how our translational projects are growing. We have a very large clinical trial portfolio, as all of you do across cancer centers. This is the enabler for our growth in precision medicine, our molecular-based clinical trials. It is a huge focus for us, enabled by precision medicine and this infrastructure. Our growth across our basic science environment is really tied to our precision medicine efforts today. Precision medicine at City of Hope is, like I mentioned, one of our priority strategic initiatives. And it touches every leader all the way up to our CEO. All of us as leaders across the institution, there's not a day that goes by that we don't have a discussion about further expanding our precision medicine program. Yeah.
Sorena, thank you for that. And I know we've got probably more questions than we have time to answer them in. And for these questions that have piled up here, we'll make sure that we have people reaching out to the people who asked those specific questions. But maybe, are there any final thoughts that you'd have as we kind of transition from our education on precision medicine at a thought leader like City of Hope into our whiskey tasting? Any final thoughts that you'd want to leave this audience with?
Yeah, I think, if I really encourage all of you who are in the middle of precision medicine activities at your own institution to think about how can we share and partner up on some of these strategies. We have a very strong footprint, and we are very open to collaborations across other cancer centers. We have a number already in place. Many of you participate in our community events that we have across precision medicine. I really encourage everyone to really think about a collaboration of some sort. How can we help expand this together? This is definitely not a single cancer center's effort to make this thing perfect. There are large efforts across the country for data standards, for infrastructure. We can together really make this what it needs to be for the 21st century. I think we're well on our way. This is really first and foremost helping our institution really move itself to the next level, and it may do so for some other Cantor centers. I know many Cantor centers that are at par with us, doing equally amazing things. And I think we can still come together and do even more amazing things. So I really recommend and want to just to highlight collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. This is how we got to where we are.